Hello everyone, this is Fantastic Worlds, welcoming you back to Lovecraft Country and Cultist Simulator, the Dancer DLC. Yes, we have come to the next unlock bonus of 350 YouTube subscribers for the Cultist Simulator Dancer DLC Tips and Tricks series, and I'll be doing this one a little differently. I'll be doing it live. I'll be also cutting it off probably with the 1 hour mark and posting it up to YouTube as a result. So yeah, let's see if the experiment worked. Now I've done this with Darkest Dungeon and it seems to be working pretty well, so we'll see if this works with this Cultist Simulator as well. It's a little different in that sometimes the pace can drag a little compared to Darkest Dungeons, but I'm hoping they'll all work out. You know, Darkest Dungeon has the dungeons and it has the village. It's just kind of this, all of it at once at a constant pace. We'll see how it works. Anyways, we of course, because I'm doing this, have blown past 350 subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you guys. And in addition, we will be doing a Darkest Dungeon tips and tricks, probably 3 episodes after this one. I'm estimating 3 episodes for Cultist Simulator Dancer. Now, it's a smaller series because I like to compare the aspirant, by the way, to the getting a college degree. The apostle runs is getting a PhD. Yes, it's that difficult. And the dancer being the liberal arts degree. Now, hang on a second. This is more of a casual game, so I'm bringing my coffee with me. So occasionally you might hear me stop, and occasionally the cat may wander in. Just a heads up on it for you out there. Anyways, yeah, and that's not, however, saying anything bad about the DLC or liberal arts in general. Just that, comparatively study-wise, it tends to be more performative on the dancer's part than it is hitting the books. Now, it's probably better if we just go right into the game and I say it as we go along, but this is my favorite DLC, and we will be going over some of the aspects of the mystical nature of dance within occult traditions. Now, majority of the aspirant and apostle and the other runs work with a hermetic tradition, which is basically a whole bunch of studying and trying to alter the world around you by stretching your mind without breaking it completely. But the dancer is more about self-transformation through motion, and I'll show you how. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so we start here at the beginning, which is actually a bit different from the aspirant. Now, the dancer tonight, I begin in the chorus line of the Gaiety Theater, where the lights are bright and the eyes are watchful. Okay, so remember, we are currently set in 1923 London in this game. That's the default setting, I think, for everything except the exile. And the situation is here, we're starting with a new character entirely. Remember, new game, new timeline. So essentially, in this timeline, your character is a dancer, not a working in a hospital and be given a strange manuscript by an old man, which is how the aspirant run has. In this case, we have these cards to start with, where it's a bit more generous than some of the other ones. Oh, gotta get that in a second. A contract to the Gaiety. I have a position in the chorus at the Gaiety. Gaiety, probably a better way of pronouncing it. It's mine until my luck or my looks run out, or until I find something better. Go into about that for a moment. But yes, regarding dancing. Now, it is of course considered a job. It is also a bright-eyed watcher. Sometimes she sits in the front second row seeking new talent for her particular establishment. Those sheen players are rarely seen about town. Okay, the plot thickens already. Aspect, the gentleman at the stage door. A gentleman of some means sometimes attends performances. He has been known to pay his respects to chorus members after the show. We'll get into more of that later. Aspect, dance, older than language, younger than life. Ooh, yeah, and a mystical tradition as well. And aspect, lady in the box. A lady of means sometimes attends performances. She's been known to show a keen interest in chorus members. Yeah, anyways, we better get to the job before it runs out. Now, the job itself is also going to require, remember, hit that, I'll tell you what you need, health, because you have to be strong, young, and healthy to be able to handle the chorus line. Stage awaits, hot and clean and bare and bright. If I move the moves and step the steps and do as required, they will pay me. Now, essentially what she's saying is that she's doing the chorus line, which basically means that she just goes through the routine that she's taught, and she can, you know, as they say, just walk the walk, and without thinking about it. Not quite sleepwalking, but all routine. But there's also opportunities for her to be able to break out. Now, you notice we started with 2 health, which indicates the incredible amount of physical conditioning that dancers will do. I mean, seriously, 12 to 16-hour days of practice. And the advice for some dancers is, of course, that you for ballet dancers is that when practicing, please stuff something into your sock that will absorb the blood that comes out. I'm not kidding, by the way. That's real life. And like I say, sometimes real life is the cosmic horror story. Okay, so I've frozen it, so we don't have to worry about this running out of time. But yeah, this is going to be our main moneymaker. This is one of the reasons, by the way, this particular run is so much easier than the aspirant. The aspirant starts off essentially unemployed, and you desperately trying to find money all the time. But in this case, you're not already employed. Not just already employed, you're employed in a relatively easy job. So long as you have 1 health, you can do this indefinitely. And yes, the health does become fatigue, but you start with 2, and you can just nap to get the fatigue back twice as fast. But as you can see, you also unlock, of course, time passes, which essentially is our indicator. Yep. Telling that's if currently burning away our ingredient of funds. Now, that was the one fund we have, by the way. You may notice that we have nothing for ourselves. But one of the advantages of this is that we can just spam this as necessary. Now, unlike the job that you have working as a clerk, this one gets generous in what you can do without it. So you have 120 seconds after completing it to do anything else that you want before it goes inert. If it goes inert, then essentially what you're looking at is you have to basically beg with a passion card to get it back up again within 400 seconds. That's pretty easy to do, and there's even a way to get the card back if it goes completely inert. We'll go over that later. Not that I intend to do it. Just in case I'm reading this wrong. But also you've unlocked the Vitality card. If there is one thing you must know about the Dancer run, is that it is a heart run. It is the essence of the heart itself is dance. In fact, the Prisingant, or the Grail creature, the heart creature you summon is continually dancing, because one of the things about the mystical principles of this game is based off of is that desire, Grail, which we've just done, is about what makes you want to live, but the force of life itself is the heart, which is the continuous cosmic heartbeat, be it the heartbeat within our body or the rotation of stars and planets in the sky. But okay, you're going to need to be burning through so much vitality. I did mention, by the way, about all of the practice and that dancers will do in order to be able to get into the conditions so you can just do this job. We're going to be doing that in real time in the game, because you don't study so much in this game. In fact, you can do this entire game with virtually no lore, 5 expeditions, and almost no notoriety. In fact, since you'll be running essentially a heart cult, you can use the heart cult ability to absorb notoriety to just go without notice. Now, you will constantly be shadowed, and that's not, however, because of the mysticism. We'll go into that in a bit. But as you can see, we're also starting to unlock the study icon. Hey, there we go. Hundreds of dancers have passed through this changing room. Now and then one finds their traces like dropped petals, a lost glove, a faded photograph, and an admirer's note. Now, that note is similar to the note that the old man gives you, but we will know shortly who dropped that note, and that it was in fact intended for us. But let's let that happen. In the meantime, we've got to keep the work going. Now we can grab the other health. This one will cycle out in 60 seconds. This one goes in 45 seconds. So in 45 seconds, assuming you don't get a bonus with the passion card, which will come up multiple times to do additional energy into your performance, will temporarily be without health. That can, of course, be an issue, but this vitality will protect us in case the sickness card hits, the time of sickness hits. But let's go back to work. All right. Okay, do my usual arrangements here. Now this is, of course, like I said, not a run you'll be doing a lot of studying, so reason becomes pretty secondary, but you are going to have to max out health to get to the end of the game. And I usually will max out passion as well, because that tends to be a lot of points where I can use it and need to have extra passion lying around. In fact, at one point, you can pretty much just get by doing nothing but painting and dancing, which honestly sounds like a pretty awesome job. I mean, pretty awesome way to live from my point of view. Oh, God, to be creatively talented. All right, so let's see. I'll occasionally do the burst. I'm going to probably start off normal time when it comes to these sort of things. Yep, just basic run again. But we do get the 1 funds. Now, I notice, again, like I said, the health isn't 100% back yet, but we'll be getting that shortly. Now, I have other options. I could, for example, simply try to paint and get a glimmering card. Not exactly useful at this time, but we're going to be going up in hopefully vitality first, because I'll use a health card to study as well as to perform. And as once I get the dream action up yet, I can regenerate my health fast enough to do that. So in the meantime, Let's see if we can get lucky enough. I tend to not like to leave this to be idle. And this card, again, like I said, has 120 seconds. Now, you can put in a restlessness card to here in order to be able to get rid of it. Went over that in my basic tips and tricks run. But you can also just run it without. All right, but we're almost done with studying in a moment. Boom. Okay, health's regenerated. We have no additional thing, but notoriety will come up. Shouldn't be an issue this early in the game. But let's see what that mysterious thing is. A discarded mystery, a crumpled poem, a dozen pages long, has been stuffed in an abandoned shoe. Not a love poem. I'm almost sure it's not a love poem. But when I read it, my breath comes up faster, and I wonder if I'm remembering something I had lost. Yes, one of the things to remember about this is that, there it is, crumpled note, is that we are alternate versions of ourselves, but sometimes alternate versions cross over. The aspirant run, for example, it's strongly hinted that the dead guy who gives you the papers to start with is actually an alternate version of you that failed to ascend to godhood, and is a desperate attempt to do so, has decided to go to another timeline and start himself all over again. All right. Oops, sorry. All right. It's addressed to another dancer and signed by someone named Rose, a believer. Oh my God. Okay, cameo. The writer describes how they met the dancer in a dream in a dark wood. Their dream featured drum beats, wing beats, and skins of shadows, the blood of the moon. No wonder the poem was discarded, but I can see there are layers of meaning to unpeel. Yeah, one of the things about mysticism, by the way, is why everybody thinks about the wizard in his books, is that there's a lot of mysticism in the performing arts, including poetry, dance, writing, music. A lot of them are used to create a atmosphere of creation. For example, why it's called creation, right? So to become like the creator, one must create. Anyways, approach. Now, we have two ways of doing this, the heart's throbs or the violin's cry. Now, we can either approach this by thinking about it with health or with passion. Now, I do not do passion because, like I've said before, this is a heart-running game. Boom. Consider the crumpled poem as a physical challenge. Is this some sort of code? Are there hints here towards an unusual set of dance steps? Well, let's go and find out. Okay, while we're currently trying to figure out how to convert a mystic poem into a dance routine and painting on the side, let's keep it going. The beginning of the game. Don't ever say that it's boring in the beginning, because by the time it picks up, you're usually juggling at least 5 plates. And things are trying to kill you as well. Alright, so health's regenerated, which is good. Alright, you finish a painting with the average result of getting a glimmering. You can sometimes get money or contentment from doing so, but you'll always at least get 1 glimmering. Now, you'll notice that we have only 58 seconds to complete this, but luckily we have 1 health to boost it. Now, if an extra opportunity comes to do passion, we will be unable to do so, but that's not that bad of another thing, actually. It's just going to mean that we lose the opportunity to get additional fund. Alright, so let's see about our mysticism. We've got the dream one. Now, the thing is about that is anybody can sleep, but dreaming is something else entirely, in which it connects us to the mantis. We'll get there eventually. Dreams of another self. In my dreams, it's coming clear. There is a dance one cannot perform alone nor with a partner. There's a dance one dances with a doll. Okay, the doll is going to come up in a bit, but yeah. She's thinking of mysticism. All right, so we've already got the 2 vitality. Now we need to immediately turn that around and convert it into another health, because we're going to need all the healths. Yeah, by the way, you will have an enormous amount of health, but you will also lose some of it in the process. The directions are coming clear. There are steps, certainly. Steps where I begin to feel, and the steps end somewhere beyond waking life. Somewhere I'm different. I rotate my shoulders. Why does it feel my skin does not quite fit? Yep. Transformation. It's the whole concept, is to transform yourself through the dance, through the energies that you summon. I'll go over that as we go here, but I bring the vitality. Yeah, let's just go back into the studio and the dance studio and study the heck out of things. All right, so 59 seconds plus that. We're chugging on through. As you can see, the detective did not find any evidence of us doing anything because we haven't actually done anything except do some reading, which isn't quite illegal yet, but I'm sure they'll work on it. Okay, boom. Contentment. We have absolutely nothing to be worried about, but one thing about this, by the way, is it will actually become minorly useful because it's got 2 heart itself. You remember that this game is learning how to read these cards and read how they associate with each other. So if I ever need a 2-point influence for heart, boom, there it is. Anyways, let's... Alright, there we go. Boom. Did not do the opportunity, which I expected there would be. Okay, so We can take this health to go back in because we do not want to be low on cash anytime soon. We'll have an extra health to burn as well. Boom. All right, so passion's back up and running. We'll need to increase that in a bit, but first things first, let's get health out of the way. Boom. So, movement. Well, travel is probably the best way of putting it. Okay, so I performed the steps with a rag doll, but it wasn't quite right. When I peeled the doll's fabric away like skin, I felt relief, but then of course it fell apart. Something is wrong. Wrong with the doll or the world or me, or all three. Temptation change. Here we go. We have now gone to our crazy pill, as I like to put it, because once you get a temptation, you are never rest again until either you are destroyed or you transform into a non-human creature. I won't call it abomination in this particular run because it doesn't actually feel good. Also, notice I haven't named us yet. All right, so the moment, for those of you who are old school occultists, you'll probably figure out where I got that name from. Spiral dance is and for others is a metaphor for the life itself, and how it seems to be a dance of continuous cycles, but that we find them at different points in perspective. Yeah, I'm getting maudlin. Temptation change. On certain nights before the audience, there's a wing lift of something more. What more could I become? Notice the symbol is the cocoon, which is about peeling away skins and becoming a new person. This will allow me to win a change victory if upgraded enough. Devote enough effort to your dances and you'll find the next step. Alright, so this is to upgrade. This, of course, is currently at level 1. Desire, it's always a price. Forms of change. Each time I change, I leave something behind. The new form. I'm coming to know a dance that began between the mountain pines of the dry land. Yes. Alright, study. Exercise the body. Boom. We have both the stronger physique, which is level 1's health, and we have another health card, which will be useful. Now, the question is, where do we go from here? We have the glimmering going at 104 seconds, so boom. Let's get our passion up to level 1 as well. There is not really much to do here. Thing is we're not going to be doing much into the mysticism like the Mansis or heavy amounts of lore, simply because we don't need it. The dancer works on an instinctive level. In fact, dance has predated the written word as a form of a mystical expression. For example, the traditional dances of the indigenous cultures have survived since the Stone Age, primarily being used to try to, well, I won't go too far into that quite yet, but right now we're dealing with dance in a mundane form still, despite the fact that our character desperately wants something she can't quite identify to happen, to change. Okay, so let's move forward to the next cycle. Alright. Boom. More cash, and notice that we're still barely keeping ahead of things, but we can drop this and go into here, and simultaneously from this point, whenever we have nothing better to do with our dream card, we just simply use it to double the speed of our recovery. Now that only works, by the way, if you do it immediately, because it's a 30-second run. It's just going to be 30 seconds. If you put it into whether it's 60 seconds or 5 seconds remaining on the card, it's still 30 seconds. So you don't bother doing that particular tactic. Oh, there we go. Of course we have that. Unless, of course, you are above 30 seconds. Okay, the new partner. This is where things get getting weird. I found it. Sold as flotsam for a half shilling, but it's not exactly right, but it's close. Its shape, its scars, the shape of its limbs. The Marev idol is Marev would make little wooden idols, essentially what's known as the original meaning of the word fetish, thank you. That's why I use the word foci now these days, because, well, let's face it, fetish means something else entirely, except besides the classical version, which is designed to link it to another form of energy. Now, modern one that most people know about is the so-called voodoo doll, which is kind of where you put needles into a little doll that represents somebody and they cause pain, which is based a little bit on, I suppose, mysticism and the fact that it's creating a link between the person, and when you damage the doll, it's supposed to damage the person. I would say, however, hang on a second. That it's really not that effective. There's a lot of different variables when it comes to occult practices, and will alone and getting your rituals from Hollywood don't usually work very well. But in any case, it do get our reason card, ironically, despite the fact it's kind of we're using non-reason based logic on this. But yeah, this one right here is, of course, the 4-point tool for heart, which is going to be useful because I can use it to initiate people before we even have lore, if we get to the point where we're initiating people, because we don't even have the talk verb yet. Okay, we will want to placate the witch twins who feared in their lake. The lake is almost dry now, but the idol and the witch twins yet remain, yet shadowed with the aspect of heart. Okay. Essentially, it's their fetish for worshipping the entity known as twin entities, the witch and sister, which I've gone over briefly before, are actually, good grief. Now I need to, let's see, boom, get this started here. Passion's up, put the glimmering in. Gonna be problematic. Still have a 180 seconds, so I've got time to get another level of passion, and if necessary, train in health to get a vitality. In the meantime, or possibly do some work with stronger physique. In the meantime, switch this to normal. All right. Talking too much, moving at a slower speed, but you notice, of course, like usual, the exotic cravings kick in, and if you don't have what is required to upgrade the next level, you're going to get a restlessness and have to deal with that. So again, we're already in the beginning, starting up with getting pounded. Now, opportunity. The opportunity, here we go. I am more than a lism package of flesh and blood. Tonight, they'll notice that. Essentially, rather than just going through the steps, which are represented by the health card of using your body to just perform motions, this is trying to infuse your passion, your creative energy into it, and trying to get someone to notice you. We'll see if it works. At the very least, you get an extra fund. All right, so... All right, yes, and we have this open, which means I could use another health to start exploring, but I want to use this health to... in possibly another 6 seconds to get another vitality to get rid of that affliction. I could use my funds, but notice I'm not generating any funds very quickly now, am I? Oh, God. Life of a starving artist. All right. This is the basic ending if you get the opportunity option. I feel all their eyes upon me. Afterwards, I receive a gift from an admirer, a little too personal for me to feel comfortable, but I can sell it on the secondhand market. Now, one of the things about dance, by the way, especially places like the Gaiety Theater, is that this is not being done essentially for just artistic expression. If people on there, dancers, by the way, usually fall under the heading of the modern day calls sex work, but which is ironic because they don't actually have sex. I've actually used the term erotic artist to explain it, in the fact that they are using the concepts of desire, of performance, of sex appeal for that matter, to draw a person in and get their attention. Now, the majority of these people, by the way, I'm just using unskilled labor to get a vitality, get that moving. And we'll, of course, start the nap here. Not exactly terribly exciting in the beginning, but yeah, the thing is about that is that a lot of the people who are doing the dancing are going to be girls, and I'm going to code the dancer here as female for the game purposes, is that they are attempting to catch the eye of somebody patron. Now, notice that we just caught the eye of somebody who tossed us essentially, let's say it's a gold ring, and why it's lovely and a token of admiration for our performance, but we also thinking about the fact that he may consider that he's, should get something for his money. Now, there's a big crossover between dancing and actual sex work. And in 1923, London, you're going to find, let's get rid of the affliction with the vitality we just generated by accident, which, hey, I'll take any good news we can get rid of this restlessness too. By the way, restlessness, I'm pointing out, has 2 heart. So we can use this for some purposes to benefit us in the dancing. We'll get to that later when we get to the ritual dancing. Right now, we're just doing the standard, like I was saying, erotic art dancing. So, if the thing is, of course, in 1923, yeah, that is a lot of ways how sex work on a casual basis would be done. Some of these dancers are here essentially to show their wares. As our characters, you can interpret that how you want. She could very well be gotten that extra fund through something that wasn't mentioned in the story. After all, the game is PG-13, despite being, you using Lovecraftian arts to bend time and space to your will and summon monsters. So yeah, I've always loved the fact that we can talk about Eldritch Abominations destroying reality, but sex work can get me flagged. Oops, damn it, I keep losing the coffee. There it is. Anyways, so yeah, did she do so? I don't know. I mean, you can code the game any way you want, but when you actually start getting real patrons, I mean, the ones who expect you to come to their place and do private performances, yeah, that's one of the things that actually these girls will do, because they only really have one way to go before their body gives out. I mean, they're essentially trained for years, hit 18, 17, when they start performing, have maybe 8 years total to be able to get their dreams and hopes complying. Just, yeah, let's get the reason going, by the way. I can keep going at a normal speed. To give so, and they have only a few options. One, of course, is to suffer a deliberate injury and be forced into a menial existence, as they were trying to avoid by taking this sort of route. Sorry about that. Another is that they would have... Oh, wait. Hello, somebody there. I just saw I had a follower. I have to apologize. For some reason, the UI on this is just giving me trouble. Anyways, got distracted. But yeah, the thing about that is that either they burn out, they continue in a career. Give me a second. I'm gonna get rid of that restlessness before it runs out to a dread. Okay, a career and contentment, since we haven't actually done anything wrong with our lives yet. Although, you know, eventually I'm sure the man will be onto us. Anyways, you have the option of retiring as a teacher and teaching the next generation while you bitterly look upon them getting the possibilities that you did not get when you were young. To enter into another form of erotic artist entirely, such as a madam, or to become a trophy wife. Now, that was the thing that you can get actually as a minor victory in this game. You can attract the idea of a patron, entice them to a certain point, because there's always a chance that they'll lose interest in you, being, of course, a jaded aristocrat, and they marry you. And then essentially that is the happily ever after that almost all, getting erudition up to level 1, almost all dancers can expect. Because after all, if you're in the aristocracy, or for that matter, just a rich merchant's wife, you've got probably the best life you can get as a woman in 1923 with that, who hasn't been born into wealth. What do we got here? Oosh, we might have, yeah, we're going to have to redo this one. Have to get the rest. We sometimes have to decide if we're going to burn the contract and use a passion to get it back, or take a despair. And since we just had a despair drop open up on us, yeah, I think I made the right choice there. Okay, boom. Yep, it's gone inert, as you can see here, suspended. Missed too many practices, but we got another vitality. Now, obviously, you notice it's raining vitality on us, but we've got to get vitality up to level 4. So we're going to keep going now and just take it as we can get it. Now, let's see. Yeah, I think we're pretty stable at the moment. Contentment's about to wear out. But yeah, I'm running at the normal speed at the moment. But this game gives us a fourth option for our character, and that is to become... Well, we'll see. To basically tap into the mystical energies and transform into... Hey, we got money for our painting. Transform into something. We'll get there eventually, but for the moment, we gotta beg for our job back. Add a passion. Plead for reinstatement of Guidey Theater. I need the job back. I'll tell them I was it'll be different this time. Perhaps they'll understand. Essentially, I just assume we say that we had a sick mother. We may, in fact, have a sick mother for that matter. Anyways, so let's see. Just catching my breath. It's been a little bit since I've played this one particular DLC, so it's why I'm taking it a little early in the beginning. I'll probably shoot up into a faster pace as we go on. Again, we're about to hit another freaking dread. Oh, at least we got that. And the contentment's not going to last long enough to be able to cancel that. All right, so again, we are pushing up reason to level 1. Reason's not going to be a huge priority, but I just want to have extra cards because the occasional curse knocks out your only reason card or your only passion card. You've lost the game right there. Okay, so we have the job back. Did we also notice we have 120 seconds? So I have the option, if I desire it, to... Hang on, just my little OCD kicking in there. I always like to stat it so that the weakest one, the one that's about to give out first, is to the left and it goes to the right. Like I said, one of the ways I play this game is to maximize how much I can get the UI as I set it up, the information it can tell me. So, yeah, what do we need to do next? Okay, is there any reason not to do that? Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. We're going to just barely get this vitality and we start moving for the next level, which is one of the reasons why, right now, I'm going to continue trying to pump up that vitality. We're going to have to the point where we can get her to get to a 4 through mystical means eventually, which means we have to get some heart lore. But, pardon me, going to cough. Sorry about that. It's a dry down here. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have to get that level, then the faster you do it, the better. So, because that will allow you to skip past when we get to the ritual dances from one level to the next before we even get to the expeditions. Assuming we get to the expeditions today in half an hour, we may not. Oh well. Okay, so we also have to wait on a certain event that will happen when we dance to be able to get beyond this level, but I never remain idle in this game. Okay, I think we can probably skip that one. Up ahead, there's the dread, or the potential dread. Yep, this problem is since we are not a magician yet, or we can actually play the game without using a single rite, I can't ditch this yet except for the standard way. Okay, so let's, yep, there's the fascination trap. No fascination, up and running. Alright, and we've hit level 1 when it comes to scholarship. In addition, we've got the vitality. Pop in the old vitality, we're going to start moving towards the next level of health, put this into the nap phase. Now, what have we got here? 64 seconds. We can actually pull this off. It's going to be cutting it by 4 seconds, but we can actually paint that restlessness away, which is kind of a weird way of saying it, but hey, if it works, it works. All right, so vitality is up and running, and that's 80 seconds. That will, yeah, this is all timing, by the way. This game does come back to a sense of, always to a sense of timing, but considering that heart is the aspect of time, the heartbeat of the cosmos that continues forward, which, by the way, is a real principle in mysticism, especially, for example, the drums of Kali in Hindu faith, in which she represents the heartbeat of time, or the thunder. Remember the thunder skin, the drum, the thunder that drives creation forward, which of course links to the beat of the dance. This is why the drum is considered the traditional representation of the heart principle. In fact, I believe there's the level 8 or level 12 tool will have that. Okay, let's see. Going to cutting it close. Okay, contentment's coming up, which means I probably could have gotten away without having to do some painting, but we're not going to be having an issue. By the way, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that this pick glows, that the travel one will glow if I pick up Fleeting Remembrance. It'll give you a random card for doing so, a pretty minor one, but since you can't control which card it is, I tend not to use it. The same way I tend not to use Glamouring's up. Ooh, we have to make a decision. And we've already made the decision. I could be going for the next level of passion, but passion is not the primary way. Okay, we've got that and the vitality, a lesson learned. We go for the second one. We can get to level 2, strength. Okay, contentment's up and running. But we have 4 seconds left before we can get back to work, which we are actually going to do. There you go. Boom. Again, the beginning of the game, the beginning of a run is just usually your build-up, and it can be a bit slow. Especially if the reason I'm taking it a bit slow is I do not want to mess this up, because if you mess up in the beginning, it becomes a lot harder to game, or sometimes you just have to, you know, start all over again. Okay. You're foregoing the passion boost, but should be able to get the next one. Do we have the option for passion? We do. All right. Opportunity means that we could possibly get the next stage of our evolution for our character. There we go. You notice the talk icon is now up and running. What we say and when we say it. Do I have something in common with some of these who watch me? Basically her audience, or is she referring to something a little more nastier or mysterious, like, say, a hand-delivered letter addressed to me. It smells strongly of cigarette smoke and cloves. It reads, "If you need to talk to someone about your dreams, find me here. Don't call until you're ready. There is a name and a telephone number. Sulochana." Yes, Sulochana, my second favorite character in this game, by the way. The first one being Teresa, of course. I always have a place for Teresa. I'd like Christopher, but he's technically not a character. Seriously, he's reading a few books. Teresa talks about him constantly, but there's no Christopher card. He literally never shows up in anything except a authorized fanfic. Set in 1974 for all places, where he's an old man. And he never gets back together with Teresa. It's terribly sad. But considering the crime of this guy, maybe not that bad. Might even be the best ending for him. Okay, so Sulochana, you remember? The laconic, energetic, bright-eyed, unblinking owner of the Cultist Club. Yep, basically, she is the head of the Cultist Club. Now, ecstasis is what I'm going to call it, because that is essentially what this word is trying to say. Ecstasis is a concept I've gone over before, but we will be going over it multiple times in this. So when we get to that point, I will go over it. But for the meantime, yes, she is our mentor, and normally I use her essentially as a cheat in the cards in the regular game to preserve influences longer than they should. But here she's critical to the game itself. She acts as the mentor for the player. Now, let's see. Probably should get back to work. Nope, 120 seconds. Do we want to keep going with the health? That's a question. If I go with the health, I could probably get up to level 2 rather quickly, but since I'll need this card to upgrade it, I probably won't. So I can either just go back to dancing, or I can keep up with the painting, and considering I've only got this... Yeah, I'm actually going to go back with the 2 seconds burn, then go back with the painting. And I am going to use a standard painting, because if I activate a level 1 or higher skill to do my painting, what will happen is I will start attracting the police attention, because that means I've started to use mystical principles, okay? And next stage for health. Boom. More time at the dance studio. But yeah, now this is where we start doing the searching. Remember, heart means that we're expending our own energies to search the city. This is, okay? And that we're trying to find the Ecstasis Club, the Ecstasis Club. I'm going to be calling it that, even if it's not the right word. Because that's essentially, like I said, she's trying to hide in plain sight that she offers magical entertainment and services. She's an immortal, if you recall, which there it is. A cabaret with an occult reputation. Aspect moth, which, keep that in mind. Location, aspect heart, obviously an aspect that. Desire, life, and chaos. Actually sounds like an awesome combination. But this is where we'll be spending a good deal of time. So the question now is, shall we go explore? Now, normally at this point, you would put either cash, you put cash in to be an audience member in it. And that gives you a benefit of usually contentment, but I just usually get drunk to get that. It's more reliable. And also some minor stuff. Might even get police attention, because the police believe this club is a brothel, and they're probably not wrong. I've already explained the connection between dance work and sex work. I mean, dancing and sex work. But also, they may suspect that there be mysticism happening here. After all, the name's kind of a dead giveaway. But Sulichana and her sisters, if you recall, we've already met 2 of them when I did the Apostle DLCs, could probably eat the entire bureau without much difficulty. And no, I'm not using that metaphorically. She's not. Remember, there's no mortality thing here. She can't be killed. Even if she wasn't something other than human, along, by the way, they couldn't kill person. And honestly, if the cops can't kill you, what are they going to do? Anyways, but meet Sulichana at the Ecstasis Club. Sulichana and Amavasa. Stan, I'm going to call her Sulichana. My apologies. I know some of you realize how to pronounce these things properly, and it'll probably drive you mad. I mean, I think I've got erudition correct. If I don't, let me know. But I am trying. My apologies. My language centers got a little messed up when I was a kid. All right. Bad fall. Just inside the red swagger, doors away, smoking one of her peculiarly imported clove cigarettes, speaking to probably with one of those long, thin cigarette holders. I always love those in films, even though I'm not really big on smoking. Speaks to a lean, very tall sort who might perhaps be the Greek. The Greek. She watches me approach without blinking or changing her expression. She doesn't blink, by the way. Now, the subject we must be speaking of is the unveiling of the flesh, the temptation, the mystical desire that draws us to this club. Very well, Sulichana says. I have a job for you. This is a one-time offer. She takes a drag on her cigarette. You'll be taking off all your clothes, she adds. Smoke greased her face. She still doesn't blink. Your outer layers. Yeah, we're not talking about just the out dancing nude, which we will be doing, by the way, but she's also talking about our skin, metaphoric and possibly physical. There we go, get the health back from our nap, and again we've got another vitality. Oof, might be able to boost it up if we're really pushing it. I mean, boost it up to level 2 quickly. Okay, I think, yeah, we're just waiting on that. If I'm just waiting, I'll put it back into fast forward and change it to normal if I have to pay attention to what I'm doing. Getting my groove back. All right. Leading reminiscence. I always wondered why we're activating the talk one. Now, we have to ask ourselves what we want to do at this point. Now, talking, we don't have anyone to talk to, unfortunately, at the moment. And I don't have any lore to be able to summon my cult. I don't even, to actually form one. My God, I seem to be stuck in my head today. Nostalgia can be a trap. All right. So, standard painting. Nope, actually, second best. We got contentment, passion up and running. Here we go. You'll notice that we're at level 2 health, and we've got 4 health already because we started with 2. But again, we're going to need all that. All right, so even though we're hanging out with the dark crowd here, we probably want to keep our day job. All right, that's not going to last long enough to boost up with. Health's not fatigued enough, and we can't use nap to do passion, which is, I hate that. I'd love it if the game could allow you to be able to get your passion back from sleeping, but apparently it doesn't work. So, while we're here, if we're going to be doing vitality again, let's just get her started. Back to the dance studio. Alright, the Sulichana we've almost completed. Boom. There we go. Health back up. Okie doke. Alright. I am assigned a narrow dressing room of my own, very narrow, hardly more than a cupboard. I'm given my first costume. Downstairs, the drum roll and crescendo. Remember, drums, heartbeat, heart influence. Basically, these guys are doing, I love this by the Extasias Club, they're doing magical rituals in defiance of the Suppression Bureau in plain sight, and nobody can tell because they're thinking, oh, all magic is in a book somewhere. We're looking for creepy guys who hang out at the wrong bookstores. No, and you can do magic rituals without words, without without ritualistic items. You can just do it by performance. Okay, this is the precise moment the lean Greek enters without a warning and bends to whisper a secret to me. His name, I will learn, is Mr. I'm going to apologize in advance. Agdistis. I really should look that up. Hang on. Agdistis. All right. A vegetation god. Huh. Probably another immortal. But as you can see, we've got 2 things running here. Thunderous Secret, our first piece of lore. 2 points of heart, of course. And, well, I was just saying, that's what we should be looking for. Contract at the Extasias Club, which, by the way, you notice is a job. It is a place on the stage, and it is a dance. So, this is going to be our night job. Now, this one's going to be a lot more interesting because, like I said, we'll be openly doing ritualistic magic on stage. Cabaret will reopen soon, basically. Yeah, apparently I walk in and they close the place shortly afterwards. It's an exclusive club. Anyways, so we'll hit that contract as soon as this opens. In the meantime, we keep dancing the chorus line here, hoping to find somebody to toss us some cash. But now, this is where we start doing bad things. We want to start getting a cult together because we're going to need the cult to do expeditions, but that's primarily it. You can go through the entire run on the DLC, like I said, without doing a single spell. Seriously, do not know why I keep moving my coffee around. You can do without doing a serious spell, but you will still need people to go out and steal stuff for you. Essentially, it's not really doing that, which is kind of weird. You're going to the expeditions, when we get to that, I'll go into more, to perform rituals at certain sacred sites to absorb the energies of said sites. But you also have to do the expedition at the same time, which means that whatever the expedition's default is, like breaking into somebody's house, you're doing it, which is kind of weird. Anyways, let's go see if we can find some gullible suckers to learn about the arts of magic. All right. Tell you what. Let's find the bookstore too. We're gonna need that and on the cult shop shortly. Okay, there's the opportunity. Boom. We should probably upgrade the passion so we can get that running. All right. Ooh, what's this? Hireling. No, I'm not looking for a paid minion at the moment. I'm looking for more of a volunteer. I always thought there's a really good routine where this in the the Hoarder Express, I believe. It's a really old Lovecraftian. This one with movie with Christopher Lee and God, I've forgotten his name. It's been so long. Peter Cushing. There we go. In which the characters are One that. Yep, we could probably throw another health in here to get that. Boost this one up if we've got the time. We do. Yeah, I'm going to just dump out 2 vitality this way. Manual labor plus study and boom. That's what you got. And to keep the health rolling, let's go here. Hopefully we won't get a thing of sickness. That could be bad. It could kill us, actually, if we don't have a health of it, a card out. All right. So, let's see. Let's get everybody up and running. And there we go. We found a minion. The potential minion. He's not a minion yet. Gotta found the occult society first. The cult. All right, Eustasis Club is currently up and running, and we're doing our exercises. All right, boom. Let's see. 63 seconds. This will be here. That'll be there. Yeah, a lot of this is maintenance in the beginning. Sometimes in the middle, too. Exhausted. So, back to a nap. Yep, managing a lot of things. Oh, we already have a nap. We can't have more than 1 naps, apparently. Can't dual nap. Ooh, it's just unfair. Anyways, back to work. Got to keep only 2 health. If we're going to do any of the bookstore, we're going to be a lot of cash. And as you notice, I can't take a walk because I don't have a spare health, which is why I need a minion to do my shopping for me. Okay, she must be making it in society. She's going to be having a disposable minion to do her dirty work. Okay, so increase the health. Bring that to vitality. You'll do that too, and we'll keep generating vitality over here by doing that. I said to do the dancing, but I need to get... I don't want to waste the extra vitality that was dumped on me. A lot of this game is opportunism, and oh my god, we have to be painting again. Always something. Alright. Ooh, extra vitality coming up. Here we go. Victor. We got the lore back, of course, and our first mystique, which means at this point, the cops can come for us. Depends entirely on how it goes. Next is a dread trap. Yeah, by the way, I haven't covered this before. I'm sorry, I just overthought it. But if you open up this one, you can see what the next cycle is going to be, a season of despair, which basically the icon alone tells you that it's going to be a dread trap. So, let's see, get your health back. You don't have your health, you have nothing. And... going to have that extra vitality in a bit, which we should pair up pretty well with the vitality we're burning, because we need 3 lesson learned, so we should do 6 vitality within 4 minutes. That's usually how it runs. You can use Silichana, by the way, if you're doing this sort of thing, where they're talking about whatever influence, including the vitality lesson learned ones, to keep it up another 60 seconds. If you remember, it's all about juggling this game. So we currently want to talk to Victor, a sly fellow with unusual opportunity. Basically Rose's sister. If you recall, Rose had a little cameo earlier. So we'll talk to him. All right, found a mystical organization. Here is someone I might work with, a companion or a follower. But first I must give them something to follow, a society, an order, a cult. All right. Technically, it's just an obsessive fan base. That's what I love about this one. You really think about it. There we go. Notoriety. Could have problems now. If you think about it, which is actually kind of funny, it's really not that much different than an average fan base. Cult principle will be heart, obviously. The temple unceasing to the drumbeat that can never end. Basically, the drum of life. That means, however, we can't go looking for another minion, potential minion, if another lore currently isn't working. We need to get more lore opportunity. Boom, drop the passion in for an extra fund. Yeah, this is so much better than working for Mr. Alden. On the other hand, we will have to screen's going nuts. We will have to deal with that dread. So we got dread and notoriety going. Okay, we finally got to the fun parts. And while we're here, let's go looking for the bookstore. Can't send Victor yet, he's not loyal enough. 2 funds. We can do 2 funds. Use the nap. Get the vitality, and we get the heart back up and pumping, and we shall paint away our cares. Yep, we've got enough time left. We just finished that one. We've got nearly the entire 2 minutes. All right, so continue. The vitality. Eesh. Leave that there for a moment. Running. Do pause when I do my maintenance, because I certainly do not want to miss stuff in Overlook Place. Good. We'll probably find you the bookstore or the auction house, which is good. Alright, so vitality lesson learned. 8, and yeah, that's what we want to do. We'll get the 4th one guaranteed by going back to the studio. Again, practice, 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 and another vitality. Wow. The auction house. All right. This will be useful when we need to get rid of things. So, yeah. Busy. Anyways, we still need to get the bookstore. A lot of health removing. No matter how many cards you have, you never have enough. Oh, that's just a hireling. Alright. Since we're not going on any heavy expeditions, we shouldn't need to get hirelings yet. A lot of times I will do early expeditions with just hirelings to speed things up a bit. Oh wait, you want something, don't you? You want passion. I don't have any extra passion at the moment, I'm sorry. Gave at the office. Okay, what do we got? Alright, passion is up and running, so now you can get in there. I will... Oh, 2 glimmering and 2 funds. Glimmering! Ooh... Gods, why do you always come at the same time and upping my health? Anyways, this is less than 60 seconds, so if you want to keep the job, we gotta do some practicing. Sorry, we gotta get out of practice and do some performing. We only have 4 funds, definitely need to keep going. By the way, the aspirant is worse when it comes to funds. But no matter how bad this feels, it's not as bad as you could be. Boom, exercise the body. Topping the next 2 vitality for that particular purpose, and keeping 1 even for any potential sickness. Down with the sickness. Anyways. Okay. Health. Ah, I needed my first recruit. There you go, Vic. You and I are going to be best friends. Best budsies. You'll even run my Instagram account for me. Well, hopefully, we're cutting it close. Nope, we won't have the passion up and running. So that was a decision. Alright, so now we have established the cult, temporary headquarters. You should all know how this works by now. This is like, I don't know, the X number of episodes. Plus a believer. Now, the believer, he's at 2 points on edge, so I do not have to do anything, but until I get, 2 points, another 2 points of lore, plus the 4 points in the doll, I'll be able to bring him up to level 5, a disciple. It hasn't happened yet, so yeah, things to look forward to. But we're hoping that notoriety runs dead shortly. Alright. Another fund, an opportunity, take a nap. Yep, this is when it starts getting repetitive until we get to the next level of things, which I think we can possibly do. Yeah, okay, so yeah, getting towards the end of where I'll call an episode, so let's get something going before that point, okay? Let's show how the contract works. Alright, the night, hint, the night and the night. The Ecstasis Club opens, I have learned, on a rhythm determined by the moons as she alters her shape, which is actually quite important. The moon, often lunar energies, are used for particular types of rituals. Full moon using for fertility rituals, dark moon using for banish rituals, half moons, I suppose, when you're in the mood for either. Or the fact that they actually perform it 2 specific lunar and probably other cosmic cycles, it shows that these are in fact rituals for power. Like I said, hiding in plain sight. There's an entire mystical cult here being run by inhuman immortals in the shape of women that is gathering immense mystical power in the center of a city that's devoted to suppressing magic. It's delightful, using people's prejudice against them. But you need several things. You need the Ecstasis Club card itself, which, there we go, the stage awaits. Mr. Agadius guides me from the dressing room to the stage. He was a dancer once himself, you can still see in his gestures, but the wound in his thigh kept it from the stage. Now, the wound in the thigh can also refer to something similar to this called the Fisher wound, which is basically means the crippling of the god by hitting them, shall we say, where their vital masculine energies are gathered. Anyways, purpose. Now, the purpose is twofold. We can either use it to try to increase our own power with a temptation card, or we can do a standard dance by using our strength card. Now, the strength card is what I'm using. Demonstrate my abilities to Mr. Agaditis. I am ready for more exacting dances that occur deeper in the club. We're talking about the members only VIP here. In the room beyond the red baize door, Mr. Agaditis will just judge my suitability. Ability or scar. Health. We need health and influence. You need an influence to burn for this, by the way, and usually I'll just throw something average in. Now remember, more hearts the better. So if I, for example, take the vitality That brings up to 4 heart, which increases the probability that we're going to impress him enough to be able to go to the next level of ability. Let's see. He does. Oh god, even more vitality. Coming up red. All this blood is still in its veins, however. Oh wait, I have a minion. Vic! Go find the bookstore for me. Ciao ciao. Might as well get another minion. Here, on my Instagram, I'm looking for another bestie. Okay, well, we have that next level. Strength up shortly. God, so much vitality. Well, she is young. Alright. No, I don't need hirelings. Wyatt, Vic! No, none of your low-life friends. I'm not looking to employ them, alright? Gods, minions. Just never learn, do you? Here we go. Demonstrate my abilities. Mr. Agentis claps his hands, long and beautiful hands together. He smiles fondly. He will take a very little of my blood just in case, and then we'll be ready. We've impressed him. He's taken some of our blood. And there we go. We've upgraded our contract to the superior contract at the Ecstasis Club. I'll perform more exacting dances, which will mean that we start dealing with... Here, I'll show you. Even though the club is currently closed, it will give me the indicator that we now need 2 abilities or scars. We'll go into scars when we generate the first one, which will probably be soon in the next episode, because we are approaching the hour mark, and I do usually stop at that point. And again, this has been a bit of an experiment to see if you really want to watch me do this in real time. If you do, I'm fully fine with that. If you want to go back to the regular edit and cut around these less interesting parts, I could do that too. As you can see, I literally can keep the talking about anything. That's one advantage that you can have as a YouTuber, but kind of more annoying in real life. But so yeah, so let me down below if you like this particular new format. In addition, of course, if you are wanting to see me do this live, you're going to come into the chat and ask anything about lore, or just say hi, or of course, you know, other stuff. I am an amateur occultist, as you can probably tell by when I'm doing this. So if you want to ask me about some of the real life counterparts that the creator, Alexis Kennedy, put into the game. Now remember, Kennedy himself said, by the way, why he put occult principles into the game, there isn't really an occult theme, mission, or secret message he's trying to get out. He's just trying to make an enjoyable game, which of course it is from my point of view. And whoever, if you're watching this to this point, you probably loved it as well. But he's also, but just want to keep in mind on which side of real and not real we are here at this moment. But yes, so anyways, like I said before, this was an unlock at 350 subscribers on my YouTube channel. And if you are watching this on Twitch, unlikely considering the numbers I'm looking at, you can send a link to that in the down below in my page, because I put that into the social media links. In addition, if you're probably watching this on YouTube, my Twitch account will be at the bottom. Now, there's an unlock at 50, by the way. Twitch will be a similar one to the usual 50 unlocks I do for for my YouTube channel. At 400 YouTube subscribers, I will do the next DLC run for Cultist Simulator, as well as another set of the tips and tricks episodes for Darkest Dungeon. In addition, that same deal applies to my Twitch subscribers. So 50 and 100, for example, will unlock the next series in either Cultist Simulator or Darkest Dungeon, which one is more appropriate. So if you want to see more episodes and you kind of like my style, just, you know, you can double dip by subscribing to both channels. Anyway, so in any case, also hello, sorry, I just got somebody walk in. Yeah, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the episode, but I'll be posting this up on YouTube, link in the description if you want, down there below, or just look for Fantastic Worlds of Lovecraft Country in YouTube. But again, I'll be doing this probably again next week. But so, as I was saying before, I get distracted. It's one of the advantages and sometimes opportunities when you have live episodes. But again, of course, and in addition, if you really like what I'm doing, there are links to the Gumroad payment platform if you're watching this on YouTube that will come to other unlock goals. The next unlock goal being an additional monthly episode, which would include, because they are voted on by supporters, which would include an additional live episode of either Cultist Simulator or Darkest Dungeon, depending on what you want. In any case, this is Fantastic Worlds. Hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.